Welcome to the NLP UK Training Podcast. I'm Fraser.
And I'm Steve Kay.
And today we're going to be talking about what makes you angry.
What gets you goat.
Yeah, what really winds you up.
Who winds you up.
And also what you can do about it. How can you change it?
Very effectively.
So Steve, what gives you that petty rage? What really gets you going?
I'll tell you what it used to be. And when I worked in an office, there'd be like tea, coffee and stuff, and then be a bowl of sugar. And inside the bowl of sugar, the people had coffee and sugar together. There'd be all coffee granules in the sugar bowl. I thought it was awful.
It's only sugar.
But why would they do that? I tell you what else as well. I tell you what else used to get me. And that was when somebody put the thing in the fridge in the wrong place.
Oh my goodness.
Had to be on the right shelf. So the milk goes, and you don't have jars of stuff at the front that you have to reach and get.
Now that sounds just like my partner, Matt. For him, he's got this thing about the dishwasher.
Oh, yeah.
So he's very, very precise about how he loads a dishwasher.
Of course.
It's got to be done in the most efficient way to wash the plates and the cutlery in the best way, which I get.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit slapdash.
Yeah.
So I just rinse the plates off, chuck them in.
Yeah.
And he's like, you put that plate in the wrong place.
And do you do that deliberately to wind him up?
Well, I didn't used to, but there is a story. There is a story. So there was one particular day, this is back in lockdown. I think I was a bit bored at the time. And we'd had these conversations about the dishwasher. So we'd agreed that it was best if that became his job to do. So I don't load the dishwasher anymore. Yeah. It's a little tip for you. Good way to get out of that one.
Yeah.
But this particular evening, he'd loaded the dishwasher.
Yeah.
And he'd said, I've loaded the dishwasher. I didn't put it on just in case there was anything else to go on before we went to bed. Can you just pop it on before you come upstairs?
Yeah.
So I popped it on before I came upstairs. But before I did that...
Did he put the soap in?
I turned all of the cutlery the other way up.
Yeah.
And I moved some cups and I moved some plates. Yeah. So that when he came down in the morning to unload the dishwasher, and believe me, I was sat in the living room and he came downstairs and he went to unload the dishwasher the next morning and the language was choice.
Was it?
He definitely got petty rage, which I found absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. So, and also, someone using the shower and then leaving the shower door closed and closing the bathroom window so no air gets out, and then leaving a wet floor towel overlapping a clean towel so it gets damp.
Oh, now you're talking about teenagers.
Not just like tidying up a little bit, just like wet stuff on top of the dry towels, and just like, clear up after yourself. It's not hard. And then the bathroom floor's wet. So you come in your socks and you get wet socks.
Yeah.
And you get wet socks. Then you've got to go back on Teams and deliver limiting belief change or something like that. So the thing is, on the last few podcasts, we talked about the three principles and the kind of inside out concept. And it looks like these things are coming from things or people outside of us. So some people say, who's that American president with the orange face?
Oh, the Trump.
The Trump
one.
Trumpety Trump, yeah. So like I get really angry with Donald Trump or Boris Johnson or whoever politician. But what they don't realise is that your feelings come from your perceptual system, your script. And we're actually throwing out predictions about what's happening. And it's called inside out thinking. Whereas most people kind of apply and have learned to apply, he makes me angry, she makes me cross. They do this to me and I experience that. And they use the term triggered. And even Samir, our psychiatrist friend, uses the term people feel triggered by stuff. But what actually is happening, according to neuroscience, we're throwing out predictions all the time. So it's just recognizing that the feeling is coming from inside.
So it can really, it doesn't feel like that sometimes, though, does it?
No.
It feels like.
Well, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Looks like it.
If you ask Matt, he would say, she did that to make me angry.
Yeah. And it looks like the person, it feels like it. And the 3 principles people, some of them say, just say to yourself, it's not my thinking. They call it thought, but I prefer perceptual system. It's my perceptual system, or it's just coming from recognizing that the feeling is coming from your script and the way you see the world. So if your script is, I don't like leaving the toothpaste top off because that's been ingrained into you by your parents, and when that happens, that causes you a bit of rage, petty rage, then recognizing that it's coming from inside, not outside in, it's inside out. And I know since I've been doing this, I'm much calmer. And I tend not to worry about stuff that's in the future. I tend to I'm more chilled. And I'm focusing on the present, and I don't let things bother me that other people do or say. I care about stuff less. I don't let things bother me.
Yeah, I think for me, my kind of light bulb moment was when I realized that I didn't always get angry about that thing every time. So that was when, for me, it became really real that what must be coming for me, because the things that I was getting angry about, one day I could rationalize it and it would be fine. Other days I didn't need to rationalize it and it would still be fine. And then other days I would blow my top about it. So it can't,
because you've not had a good night's sleep. Yeah.
But the thing is, that helped me see that it couldn't possibly be the thing. It couldn't be how I'd loaded the dishwasher or how the kids had left to play without scraping it and putting it in the dishwasher, or it couldn't be the toilet seat being let up, or whatever it might be. Because if there were some times it didn't bother me, it wasn't about that thing, it was about me. Which is a little bit scary, actually, the first time you see it within yourself.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is, depending on your what goggles you're wearing, your physiology to a degree, your brain throws out different projections. So sometimes it'll throw out projections of, I'm cool and calm. That guy's obviously, trying to get out of the junction for, 2 or 3 minutes. I have the same thing, and you just let them go. But another day when you've had too much coffee, not good night's sleep, your brain throws out different projections about what that person's doing. Yeah. And you're like, Argh.
Yeah, but if you're Scottish, there's a lot of choice language for sure.
But isn't it interesting that it's so ingrained, this outside in thinking is so ingrained, you only have to look at the newspapers or the news about they've done this, that makes me furious.
Yeah.
Or actually it comes from inside. Or even where people get stressed about stuff, and anxious or burnout, it's because of what they're projecting out. They don't realize that it's coming from inside out, not from the stuff that's giving them burnout.
For me, when I first really understood this stuff, there was that moment of, oh, hang on a minute, this is me. And there was a little bit of fear there, because I couldn't then keep blaming that stuff that was outside of me. I had to take personal responsibility for things like petty rage or getting stressed or getting upset about something.
I don't think it happened like that with me. I think what I did was I didn't get it straight away, I kind of got it intellectually that's the way it worked. There's only one way it works. It's inside out. And I keep falling out of it. So like if I saw a post on LinkedIn that I thought was, not very good or not true to, like somebody put a post on LinkedIn a few weeks ago and she put, it's important that coaches have got sector experience with the sectors they're coaching people in. And I'm like, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. It doesn't matter. You're not giving. And then later on, she put, so you can give them advice. No, it's not. That's not coaching. And so that was like, and then I realized actually this is nothing to do with her post.
Yeah.
It's coming from me.
Yeah.
It's I believe that, coaches don't give advice, shouldn't give advice. So, and they don't have to work in the same sector. But that's okay for her to have a view. But I'm not going to let it bother me.
Yeah.
But I slipped out of it for about 30 seconds. And then I realised that actually that stuff's coming from me, not from her on her post. Good luck to her.
But you have to be above the line to be able to see that in yourself. You have to be taking that personal responsibility.
Well, you have to recognise that only works one way, that I'm throwing out predictions and it's my stuff that's being projected onto. So like, I'm not watching a movie, I am the projectionist.
Yeah.
And once I realise I'm the projectionist, then stuff like falls away that used to be important, that like used to bother me and doesn't bother me now.
And I think
but it will bother me tomorrow.
Yeah.
Something will happen and I'll go all outside in again, but for a reduced amount of time.
I think it's about practice, isn't it?
It's like, that's why the 3 principles coaching program that we're running runs over 8 months. So that when people come on and do the first module, they're like, start getting it, start living it. Then they'll come back 6 weeks later and we'll say, what's showing up for you? Oh, well, I've had this experience where, something was bothering me and now it's not bothering me. And someone else will say, well, I've not experienced that yet. I still get bothered by stuff.
Yeah.
But by the time we get to the 6th module, 8 months later, then people will be living it rather than getting it intellectually, but still letting it bother them. I'll tell you one example that happened to me, and that was, I was on the golf course and I was getting a bit stressy because there were 3 people behind me who were obviously better golfers and faster, and they weren't doing as many miss-hit shots as me. So they kind of caught up, which you've got to keep up with the people in front. And I felt a bit uncomfortable. And then I realised that my feelings weren't coming from those 3 guys because they weren't doing anything, but my feelings had to be coming from inside me because I knew that I had to keep up with the people in front. So for a moment, I felt a bit anxious.
That pressure.
Yeah. And I would have felt, for ages and ages, years and years, that the pressure was coming from those players behind me. But it's not. It's coming from inside me. And it's like if someone's watched me do a putt and I've got like a long putt to do, and they finished and they're waiting for me. It's like they're watching me. They're waiting for me. Don't screw it up, which I know. But the feeling's all coming from inside. But we're conditioned to think that it comes from outside.
I think emails can be a bit like that as well. So many people think that they can read emotion or intent into the written word, which is almost impossible.
Yeah.
But they'll get an email and they'll interpret it based on those predictions that they're throwing out. And it's like, that email's made me feel like X.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's about just recognizing it and thinking, well, actually, could there be another meaning?
Yeah.
It's not the email, it's me.
Because all the feelings behind the email have been deleted because you can't see them just with those words.
Yeah.
Or a text.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole concept of inside out thinking is recognizing that the feeling you're getting has to be coming from the way you're perceiving what's going on around you. And that's based on your script or your belief system, your value system. and your brain throws out predictions of what's going on, and then you get feelings. But once you recognize that the experience is created internally, then it falls away. But that does take a lot of practice. But when you get there, you start living to be your true self. You're less bothered about stuff. You don't get petty rage. You know, coffee granules in the sugar bowl. Well,
so what?
Buy a better coffee machine. So that's it, folks, for today. Remember to subscribe to our podcast and please share it with your friends and colleagues.
And obviously, if you do want a bit more information on Inside Out Thinking and our brand new 3 Principles coaching program that's accredited at the advanced diploma level with the Association for Coaching, link is going to be in the comments. So please get in touch and we will send you some more information about that.